God bless you.
Thank you.
Okay. What?
I'd like to call the meeting to order. It's what time? 5 o'clock?
Okay, she's gonna be calling the meeting to order.
Roll call, Frank?
Yep.
Lois? Here. Ann? Here. Is absent. Juliet, staff, and Tina.
I'm sitting in for Julia.
Yeah, Juliet's not here.
Oh, good, okay. Approval of the minutes for September 19th, 2022. Motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
I second it.
Frank and Lois for the record.
Yes.
I'm recording on my little thing.
Well, we'll skip over.
No,
Joe is here.
Joe's here?
Yep.
Yes,
Joe's here.
Joe's right there.
Joe, you're up.
You're up.
Hello, Joe. Okay. I've asked Joe Bajorski to come tonight. He's the chairman for the Housing Authority. And I know many of you have questions about the old housing and the new housing. So he's here to answer all your questions. So Joe, take it away.
So who has questions?
When are we starting it first of all?
Actually, we need name and address of anyone that asks a question.
Public meeting.
So, yeah, so before you ask your question, if you could just say your name and address loud enough for Lisa to hear.
Jackie Panetta, PA, 50 Lincoln Court.
Thank you.
That was at your last meeting.
Yeah.
I forgot to talk, I was the other one.
Did you get it all?
Another interest.
Yeah, I know. So what's happening?
So we secured $32 million. We are now in the process of going through the town's transfer title. That's what's discussion. And you would think. but the town has its own, ideas of what they want. We're having a hard time. We're doing a public placement bond. So it's the additional amount. Towns. This is a normal thing. I'm not going to.
Mr. Majorski,
Yes.
I know you have a louder voice than
Okay.
that. And for Zoom and the recording.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't
Yeah.
realize we're on Zoom.
It'd be
Yeah.
great if you would.
What do
I
you want
mean,
me to
do
say?
you mind standing right in the middle?
No, not at all.
Have a seat, Joe.
Huh?
You could sit in the middle.
Where's the camera? So.
Right there.
There's a camera and a
On
recorder.
the computer.
Okay.
You don't want to be on the camera?
Well, no, I want to be on the camera. I just don't want to, I don't want to have my back to you
No,
guys.
certainly face them, just
Yes.
sitting next to each
Right.
other or something.
All right. How's this?
Yeah, just
As long as you keep that tone, you're good.
Speak up loudly, that'd be great.
All right.
Sorry.
So, at the transfer title, so the town has to go through their process. The attorneys are working on that process now. Our engineers are working to get the drawings to 100%. So at some point, once we have the title transfer, we get access to the funds. then we'll bid.
So when do you think we're break up?
Title should be 2 months. Should. Yeah, on the agenda for the town council. Town council has to authorize. Once that occurs, then, you know,
Future requests to be put on the agenda.
I have, but that's where the problem's right. Given some of the funds, and they're like, no, like that. So it's like, what do you want? And their basic statement is, we need you returning the rights. So now we're in the process.
Still talking the same two type of buildings we were the last time.
Yes.
with the 10% each with, have any consideration like carports or something?
No. We can't do that. It's basically, there's a design standard we have to adhere to make it in the state. In order to do that, we have to.
There will be something there that's taking cars off for the seniors and all that, not a little bit.
Nothing's different from what we have here. The only difference is going to be.
Not to hold you to it. But what do you think this might be done? To
From the
move
time
on?
we draw the money, we have 3 years to do the construction. So,
No, I'm just. I'm fairly, so it's, I know what you're talking about.
I mean, closing, closing the houses and everything else, it all depends on the council authorization. So if council authorization closes in a year, then you're talking about closing sometime in January, February. Then, you know, getting monies, so that's, you know, I'd like to say we're definitely gonna dig ground. I'd like to break ground in March. That's all I'm gonna depend upon a whole bunch of time. So, trust me, so
We would too.
working on it until August, so. Yeah. All right,
Well, I can help you, let me know.
yes.
Annette Hines, 49
Your name?
Annette.
Hines.
Annette Hines.
ANNETTE Hines, HINES, 49 Langdon Court. So, I don't really know you, are you the, must be the project manager?
I'm the chairman of.
Oh, okay. And so when you say secure that everything really, does that mean you apply for a loan or it's grants or? I don't
So
understand.
private placement bond. So basically, our report is a short one. The security. Our shares. That's done. Yes.
How would the rents be? By your income or?
We're going, the state is pushing,
Investments?
the state is pushing. for the- So when we create that rent roll, there's going to be certain components. I'm going to try to secure about 27 sections. So that will allow us to rent in.
And we were talking about this, people who live in these complexes already here. Are they gonna have first come
So
to it,
Our
or?
filling order is going to be people on the wait list. People on the wait list, we see that on the wait list. So, once that's exhausted, then we'll open it up to transfers. People who are wait list and transfers all have to qualify. As long as they qualify. At that point, anything left over.
So there is people that are already on it. except there's-
Not for that specific project.
Oh,
but
okay,
if
that's-
they applied for this project,
Okay,
they know their first shot. And just like,
Applications come out. When you're ready, also it'll be announced when we know when the applications are.
the price. They're not-
is that based on? Oh, it's the next year.
Yes, it's based on.
That's right. Based on, okay.
Good question. Lisa Solomon, 31 Floridian Drive. How many units are you It's 3 stories?
Yeah, no, it's still- Well, they're-
So it's different prices. Is there any washer and dryer in each unit? That makes it hard for seniors if you gotta go
I understand.
downstairs.
We wanted to go in that direction. Yeah.
What did you talk about?
No, they're gonna be on each floor.
Are they all the same or
It's
different
gonna be 2
ones?
bedroom units, 1 bedroom. units.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. like that. It's 2 bedrooms. You balance.
There's one bedroom, not.
1 bedroom, yeah. True 1 bedroom. Yeah, true 2 bedroom.
What did you say, Santos? I don't get what square footage. Did you say that?
No, I didn't.
Square footage?
I don't have that number of.
Okay, okay.
Not looking at that.
I thought you had said I
They're gonna be
couldn't hear you.
larger, they're gonna be larger than the units that currently exist in our stock.
My name is Maureen Frenchman. I live at 36 Devil's Back in Rowan.
I got 36 Camels back, but I didn't get the
Marlene
name.
Fongeme. FONGEMIE.
36 Camels back.
Yes.
My question is in more advanced question, talk now.
Okay.
I'm talking about when you. About some people that are handicapped, that they would probably rather have a shower than a tub.
All the units.
Because for him, a shower was. No, it was there. I think it's done, he never happened there.
That was.
That wasn't a big help for him. We give help for him, but it wasn't right now. So, probably not big enough. And like you said, like regular size bedroom. When you say 1 bedroom, it would be a 1 bedroom.
Was a.
Other word would be a full size bed, and there you would be okay.
Well,
I have a king
Size and inefficiency, so
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I mean, it's a design that's gonna accommodate most.
You're not gonna have a
people.
party in there. but-
I can't say that your specific bed is gonna.
I know,
fit
it's full size is smaller than a
queen.
Right, no, I'm familiar with the site, but I'm just, you know, like I said, I can't say yes.
Yeah, yeah. So if all there are everything's going to be strictly from we are now.
So. So, solar. Yeah, pretty much. Plus, that would be. And access of- That's what's- Yes. Actually, there's gonna be more than that, but. kind of-
My name is Barbara Howard. I was wondering if you could, people are gonna have things. The outside first, we have first opportunity and then.
So basically, the way we currently work it, people on the waiting list have first dibs on open units in the house. So that policy continues in the policy. Once the people on that list are exhausted, then it's opened up to existing tenants of the house. Once that's exhausted, then at that point, we open up to the general public. So the people have to qualify, even if they're on the list, for these specific properties, they still have to qualify. That means they have to go through an application process. As long as they qualify.
You don't have any kind of, idea of who the range might be?
Not, I have projections right now, and I don't want to give up projections based on that projection. So, until we're actually closer to getting ready to go, finalize those numbers. It's gonna be in line with the 50, 60. Again, some of that's gonna depend upon if I'm successful procuring the section 8 vouchers. So that really, the voucher really make a difference. If people qualify for margin.
This will be state.
No. It's covered by the state of Connecticut, but it's not the state funded. It's a low-income housing tax credit, so it's a complicated scenario, but in essence, creating tax credits that we're selling to, say, an investor with these utilities that would buy the tax credits. In exchange for those tax credits, you get monies that will use to pay off the bond, and those tax credits extend out over.
Just Debbie Landon, 31 Colonial Drive.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is, it's gonna be. Summer patients. It's gonna be not funded like by HUD, like Mars and Moore is doing. It's gonna be kind of like on Personal Heights.
It's gonna be different than
type of
Bristol
like,
Heights.
uh,
Bristol Heights was funded through a state grant.
Right.
So it has different rent structure.
But they're gonna be like, all your utilities included.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, because we're gonna be producing our own power.
Right.
producing our own heat. So that basically all that's gonna be included.
Will there be, will there be a percentage of how, I had it in my head.
Percentage of incomes for each.
Will it, yeah, how will the percentage of the incomes differ?
That's still to be finalized. So because a lot of that's going to depend upon the Section 8 project. Again, so in the past, HUD would issue a project voucher for the entire project. They don't do that now. They issue a department-based voucher. So the voucher stays with that specific department. Until we're closer to actually finishing construction, we're not going to know how many vouchers. We're going to apply for 27. How many we're going to end up getting? And then yes.
Okay, and so this won't technically be, I mean, the other apartments will be able to be rented to all ages?
No, it's age and income have nothing to do with it. Age restricted housing. So.
Okay, to what age? What age? No, I mean, the bottom.
No, the bottom. So we started 65. We're gonna try doing elderly, so 65 till.
At some point in time, there'll be a new list, waiting
Yes.
list created just for that,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Because each one has their own.
Yeah,
separate-
correct. Yeah. And that's. Over 40, you know, project.
Each one gets its own separate list. So you could, in theory, I guess, would apply on all three lists.
As long as you qualify, well,
For all three.
yes, some people who qualify for this lights will not qualify. Definitely just up and up. Well, so this is, again, it's very median income, so that number changes. So it's, so it's 80%. Let's just say 80,000. Using round numbers, we're close to 100,000. Very median income, not at 100,000. So you're looking at 80. Those are your up.
So a lot of people may go for 8,000.
Yeah.
So we would need help.
Again, it depends what the number is when we get to.
Say qualifying within the parameters of what you're
Yes,
setting.
so we're gonna have some market reviews, right? Which are. So, but they're not gonna be a large portion. You know, again, that ratio is all gonna be developed. We have some projections right now.
No, I was just saying to her. I get there.
And again, there's gonna be. What's the group of people that are gonna be
In a wide range,
Yeah.
from section 8 to 80%.
So,
All for the same reason.
yeah, if we get the, if we get the voucher, we'll be able to go from 0 to 80%.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't, it's like starting at 30%.
But you didn't say, I mean, it was so you. I'm-
We're getting the
oh,
same-
there you
we're getting the
go,
same
okay.
rent.
So it comes down to.
The rent,
Okay.
yeah, the rent is the same for each unit. It's the
Yeah,
difference
got
of
it.
how we get it. So,
So confusing about the rent now.
Okay, what's the good?
You know, how do you determine, like, if it's a certain percentage or is it?
There's, you live in Bristol Heights?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so there's a formula in place. We have a floor. So we have to charge a minimum rent to everyone. And the difference between the minimum rent and your actual rent depends upon a formula. based on production.
Something.
If you send me an email, I will send you the formula. I don't have enough time. I don't really deal with that. You know, you deal with it on a budgetary basis, so I touch on it once a year. But instead of that, I'm not involved with that. Research, you know, they calculate that, that number based upon your earnings for the year. Assets that will play. It's considered income. Versus income from investments. So it's not an easy formula, but just. You have to go to this.
Go to social services, renter rebate is based on,
It's all income based.
income based.
So if you like pay your rent like the whole year. it's
No.
like-
No, it's based on how much income you bring in.
Yeah, it's considered a tax relief program.
Isn't it
For renters.
Rent.
No, it doesn't have to
Oh,
do
yeah.
with the rent.
That's why. It's
No,
just what you're.
It's based on your income and based on your age.
That's a person, but
You'd have to call Jamie Miller. It runs from April 1st to October 1st.
Yeah, it's just got their checks for that.
You get a one-time check, and you have to apply it every year.
Yes.
If everybody has any other questions, I mean, please feel free to ask, but I just want to fill in the fact that Joe's been working on this for a long time. And it's been many years. I don't see, we have not a lot of support, you know, and I'm concerned, Joe, now, when we went from family housing to now you're saying age restricted, right?
So let me clarify some stuff there.
Yeah.
We as a housing authority were never proposing family housing.
No, I know
Okay.
that.
So the state of Connecticut doesn't recognize age restriction. Okay, so basically, all their housing is affordable housing. If you apply for financing to the state of Connecticut. 9% and 4% tax credits are two vehicles that HUD uses to send money to the states that allow us to develop affordable housing. The state has put into place a rating scheme. So basically, when I come to the state of Connecticut Department of Housing, I have to meet certain criteria that they specify. And based on meeting those criteria, I get certain points for each bucket that I meet. So if I have a bus line, I get a point. Right? If I am located near a railway station, I get a point. If I have, number 2 bedrooms, number 1 bedrooms, ADA, all those things get points. And at the end of the day, the people with the most points win, but you have to have an excess of 70 points in order to qualify. Right? So similar to the two go and go in college graduation. That makes sense. The problem with affordable housing and senior housing is if you have an age restricted development and you apply, you lose 5 points. So they take away 5 points right off the bat, and your chances of getting to 70 are pretty much excluded because now you got to figure out a way to make up those 5 points.
My concern, right from the beginning, is, and Joe knows this, my concern was that it would be for age people. And Joe knows this, and we discussed this many times. I was never in favor of family housing because I think that makes it difficult. You have a lot of young people that are with older people, and you're trying to walk with your cane or walker and jumping in on a skateboard, that Joe knows how I feel about this. And I'm very happy to see people here because I think this is where he has to know because he's been working with this for how many years, Joe? We've been doing this, a lot of years.
I think it's been a total of 10.
I know.
Seven
It's-
or 10.
It's been a long time, and I give him credit for sticking with it because the state has not made it easy for him. And we have not had real support from the town. And I'm gonna say that, and I just feel that way. And I think that, and you know how I feel about this.
Yes.
You know?
You have stated that
Yes, many times.
quite clearly.
And it bothers me that other towns can do this and have senior housing and look what he has had to go through for all these years. Just to get a decent place for our seniors who want to move out of their homes and downsize to be able to have a place to live here in town. And I give him so much credit for staying with this because, somebody else would have just said that with it, throw up their hands and that's it. And he has not done that. He has
How
stayed
big
with
is
it
the
for the seniors.
At this point,
Our meetings, I just
So-
have to hear about this.
I go way back to Governor Malloy. Right? Governor Malloy came in, he changed the scheme. This whole scheme was designed initially to be a 9% tax credit. And that 9% tax credit would have given us all the funds we needed to. Because he changed that scoring mechanism, changed our ability to fund the project. We went through, the reason it took so much time was we went through various different funding mechanisms, right, to obtain. We started with inflation, this is what's there. The project stayed the same. But basically, this this is a decision that's done in the halls of partner. They have an idea of what they want to see with respect to housing that they.
I just have to.
Oh,
care about-
That's
yeah.
a good
If I
question.
get anything in the mail.
Yeah,
if I get anything on
At this
the
point,
robocall,
at this
anything
point,
like
we're really.
that. Oh, yes, I did. That's the one I did. I'm sorry.
Don't even say that. I
corrected
did a
myself
number of
right away.
times.
I did, I corrected myself right away. Right, but isn't there a way that I'm on those robocalls, is everybody, not all seniors are. so how-
No,
can we
only
do
seniors that are
flyers? Can we
members.
Put something in mailboxes?
Yeah, at this point, the deal's done, it's just a matter of getting. The council's gonna, actually, the council's gonna get it done, it just. Takes.
Get more people to attend meetings.
Yeah, I mean, the next, it's gonna be the council meeting where they vote to authorize.
We'll let you know when that meeting is, right, Barbara?
You know, I just keep thinking that, you know what they say, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. That's how I feel
Yeah.
about the council, because it's been a long time.
Well, it's not so much the council's done what they could, it's more so the staff, I think, certain staff members.
Which staff?
I prefer not to say.
No, I'm saying town staff
Town
members,
staff, yes.
state staff.
Town.
See, that's why I want these people here, because I want them to hear these things,
Yes.
you know?
Like I said,
I should not be the only one. Joe and I have these conversations. We should not be the only one to know these things. We need to have support. And you know, when I talked to someone in Plainville and said, how do you get these housing things done? And she said, because we have support from our administrators. So, you know, and I'm gonna just say it like it is, Joe. I'm sorry I have to, you know.
No, you can say it.
But I want people to know, and I want you to tell your people, your friends, that, you know, we've been at this a long time, and Joe has been at this a long time. And I think the Berlin seniors need to have housing that they can, if they want to move out of their homes, if for some reason, and you know, not only that, but if you have senior housing, that's a community. People get together, like, I drive through Marjorie Moore sometimes in the summer, and just to check out, and I see people sitting out there having their coffee, talking and laughing. And I said, this is a community, and that's, seniors should be in a community. And it's important because they can look out for each other, they can, you know, if you're not living in an apartment by yourself, and nobody knows what's happening to you. So I think this is so important, and Joe has been working on this, and I'm sure that every time my meeting comes up and he knows I'm gonna call him to find out what can I tell my commission? You know, I mean, he's been very patient, and I think that this is a long haul, and I'm hoping, Joe, that we see something soon.
I'm hoping to, like you said, the next shoe to drop is the council meeting that authorizes transfer time, so. Yes.
How are we gonna find out about it?
There's
I know
one meeting
Barbara-
in December.
Yeah, but how am I?
What's that?
There's one council meeting in December. I don't know if you're trying to get on that one.
I don't know. if it's
I'm
gonna be
trying.
on
That's
I don't know.
December 13th.
Yeah. When we see it on. the
Yeah,
agenda,
once we see it, we'll tell Barbara and she'll
Yeah,
get the word out.
So their meeting would be more important than this meeting, not that this is important.
this is important.
Okay, so this is important, but it's important to go, so the town council sees the people are.
Right,
Monitoring
that's
the
support,
state.
yeah, exactly.
This is important because what you say here gets recorded and they know these things. And I think that's why I wanted people here to speak up and tell them how you feel. I mean, I'm not bashful about saying how I feel, but, you know. I mean, there's no shame in my game, you know that, Joe, but I just feel like I'm an advocate for the seniors, and that's what I feel is my position here, was my position for the senior center, community center, it's my position for housing. There's 6,000 seniors in Berlin, and I feel that there's a need, and
Oh, God, all right.
and I just want people to know, and I want you to go out to your friends to tell them that, you know, what we said here tonight, because people need to know this. They need to know who's supporting you, who's in your corner, and who is not.
Yeah, suffice it to say, we've not just relied on Knights of Columbus project as our only project. We've supported other developments. There's one project coming up on. It's gonna have 40 units of affordable housing. It's gonna be family oriented. Well, I should say family. It's gonna be affordable. So I keep reverting back to the old lingo.
But that's not
Well,
senior housing.
It's not senior housing. It's not gonna be age restricted. It's just gonna be income restricted. So, but it gives options. I mean, 40 units of options is better than no, no options. We work with other developers. They're building a project off of Deming Road right now. Behind across from Baker Lane. They're putting up. I don't know, but if you do something like that. Yes,
Down the road.
Is that affordable?
yes, that's gonna be. Yes,
Is that Metro Realty?
Metro, yeah.
I'm just thinking about central. I mean, this is central. People, if you're driving, if you're, if the senior bus has to pick you up, this is central.
Yes.
First of all, is central. Bacon Lane is not central.
Right.
You know, so I mean,
But unfortunately, that's where the land is. So.
I know, but I'm speaking for the seniors,
No,
the convenience of the seniors.
I get you, but from a development standpoint, it's a challenge. And, I want it to be central as well. And sometimes you play on the field,
You gotta go where the opportunity is.
it's,
Deal with the handy.
if you're downtown, you're constricted by your zoning regulations with respect to what's allowable for multifamily housing. And then in those zones that allow multifamily housing, you end up in a price war. So, properties that are available to certain developments are much more expensive than others. And that has to be factored into the equation. Fortunately, the town's contributing this property, which is worth about $1.2 million. If it wasn't, different discussion. So, and therein lies the rub too, because I've been approached by several seniors that want to have full market boards, and that model sale won't develop because again, land is just not available. It's a lot easier to fit 52 people, 5-acre parcel, vertically with the associated parking. Snow plan.
I mean, they want everything.
Yeah, I had some people approach me about having one level living, like, but even the market developments that we see, they're all going up because land is expensive.
Well, they'll have elevators. It's gonna be,
Yes.
all senior. It's gonna be
It's gonna be-
adequate for the
Yeah.
seniors. And they
Yeah.
have to do those things now.
Yes,
Like the old New Britain High School, my in-laws used to live there. There's multi-floors, but everything is elevators, everything is easy. Things are gonna be easy, but we just have to get there.
Right.
What about the Knights of Columbus? What, is that coming down soon?
they'll probably all start once we are up. So once the concept is that once we have title, finalize the zoning process, once the weather warms up, we can then demolish the Knights. The demolition, the certification process to make it clean will run concurrently with the zoning approval process. So by the time we're ready to build, we'll have zoning in place to start construction. And during that time too, we'll be advertising for a general contractor and getting supplies lined up so that we're ready to go.
You think that'll be in spring? How many times?
All I have is hope.
Once we are, it'll be in the spring of 2020. But, yeah.
control.
I know, but I know,
Listen,
that's why I'm
if the
saying.
council voted last month to authorize us to close, we'd have title to the property and we'd be on our way, but that didn't happen. So-
They didn't vote on that, right?
No, it wasn't on the agenda.
See, that's what I want these people to know.
They only have so many.
They- They wanted a certain proof when we provided the new light. They wanted to say you're in a bank. So we did make that agenda. So now
Give you a list, like this.
oh, they have, but no, it's one of these things like jump a foot, and you jump a foot, or like jump 2 feet. So it's this never ending hurdle of requirements. It's like, well, we want proof of this, we give them proof of that. And either don't like that proof or they want a different style. So it's like, no, it's not like I said, my first discussion with them was here's our agreement with the private bond place. No, it's not gonna happen. Well, I don't have that. This is custom. Wells Fargo is involved in it, but they're not, basically what they've done is they've aggregated monies, various investors into a bond. A bond fund has found projects to invest in. Should come on that projects. So it's not like going to a bank and getting a letter from a bank saying, we're giving you a loan at X amount of dollars for X amount of months based on this. You know, we have to provide certain things for the bond placement that can't happen until the title is transferred. I don't want certain things that, you know, it's can't have until the title is transferred. So it's like we're trying to work our way around that, but it's not a.
So even where people like that.
This is outside my community. This is the process between the developer, our bond council, our council for real estate, which is owner common, and also the town and what the town is looking at. Especially. I think the town's being a little bit. Rigid,
Turn this way.
rigid, flexible.
Okay.
They're picking at little things. I'm not really sure. Yeah. Our latest thing was we proposed that. Basically says if you look at the town is title. I'm not sure how. Yeah, we haven't got to how part of response.
It's difficult to understand all of the layers of the town as well. I'm the public works secretary, so I shouldn't be talking, but I think it's very difficult for everyone to understand the layers. It's not, the town would be your planning and zoning, working with the developers and all the development things that go on. And you have the Board of Finance who drives the approvals money. The town council can stamp it, but it's not, they're not as powerful as people make it seem like council. It's, I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
the
In this
town,
case, they are, but I understand their
the Board of Finance,
concerns. Well, there's no money
Drives.
involved, so the Board of Finance isn't in this picture, to the best of my knowledge. Unless they have.
they totally are. And so,
How are they?
you know, it's the finance, director of finance and the bonds and all the things, all driven.
But
So
We're
it's
getting-
deep, it's heavy.
Yeah, but we're separate from the town. So the private placement bond has nothing to do with the town. It's their own house.
It's taken you years to be able to try to work through this, and it's,
Yes.
Yeah.
it's not,
Yes.
it's not, it's deep.
And that's what I'm
So,
saying.
I know.
You said they have layers. Other towns have layers and they have people living in their houses already,
So,
you know?
your
We all have to work
zoning,
together.
the zoning commission and the people who work with the developers who have to, you know, it's just beyond.
There's a lot,
You know,
there's a lot of
and
interesting steps along.
And Joe, I have to say, I give you a lot of credit for staying with it and going through all these layers of things, because eventually, maybe we'll see, I'm 84 years old, I hope I'm gonna get to see this project. But, you know,
Yes, hopefully,
hopefully we'll get to see it, right?
hopefully this time in March, we'll be able to break ground.
And Joe promises me that I will have a shovel of dirt at the groundbreaking. I just hope I'm not under that shovel.
Now, Barbara.
You know, this has been so long, and like I said, I give you credit.
Marv, I will let you swing the demolition steam shovel. I'll give you a hard hat, you go in there and.
But see, that's why I want people here tonight to know what he has gone through, how many conversations we've had about this, and we still don't have a shovel in the ground.
It takes up an enormous amount of, just to give you the idea. Within one discussion with the town on, say, the river tracks, we have 3 attorneys. I have the town manager, Mr. Mahoney, whatever his title is. So all these people are involved in that conversation, and the town attorney might bring another attorney, our attorney might bring another. We end up having like 6 attorneys involved in a conversation about one question. Right, and it's like, and they get into the, should we put a colon here or a semicolon or a period? And that's how you stuff gets to. So, it seems like, yeah, it should be just, signing the dotted line, but it drags out and drags out.
I went down and say the same stuff.
Okay. We got
I'm
the
gonna say
housing,
that.
we got the option agreement extended to the end. Other than that, there's been a lot of work done, but not much.
It's not what my paperwork does.
Well, we appreciate your patience
Yes.
in dealing with that.
So the other thing I want to just sort of, the only other thing I want to state is I know I've had some questions fielded about vacancies in the complexes, why it's taking so long. So I wanted to give you an example on one of our units that we just had released for probate. The individual passed away in April. Last meeting, we were notified by probate that we could go ahead and take control of the property. It takes us roughly 2 months to renovate the apartment. We go in there, thoroughly repaint everything, upgrade everything, and get it back onto the market. In that, so you look at April through November, talking, 2 months, so almost 10 months it took us to get that unit up onto the market. But you had to deal with the fact that it was the state. And we have to follow the rules of the state process. So
So we get probate was shut down for a long time, so they just reopened.
So I know, I get a lot of feedback from people in the community, like, I know so-and-so passed away, his unit's still vacant, why is it vacant? Well, because just because someone passes away, doesn't mean you're in there the next day, you get a unit ready to rent, there's a process that's involved, so,
Well, that's good to know.
But
yes.
if they don't own it, they're just renting, why do you have to go to pro?
That is, so they own. Place.
All the personal property.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know, because then when people have questions,
Yeah.
we can better explain.
Yes, so we are aware of all the vacancies we have, we're filling those vacancies, but it's not an easy process. So,
I'm sure there's a list to fill
yes, yes.
Does anyone have any other questions for Joe before we move on with the rest of our meeting?
them. Just one, I don't know if you.
That's a different
Yeah,
topic.
that's not me.
That's a different
What
topic.
about- I wanted to ask about the other housing, I don't know if that's appropriate. You were talking about the project for the Berlin Turnpike and the other, is that approved already? Is that going
Yes,
forward?
that's under construction.
So that one at Black Liquor Land,
No, that was roughly about 10 years.
oh, it was also.
So,
See,
but
we
that,
don't know, we just hear all.
But those are private.
those are private.
Those are private.
Oh,
You had to jump through a whole bunch of hurdles that have to do with floodplains and wetlands and.
Right, those-
Okay, so that doesn't have to do with the town, it's a private.
No, they're private.
The private. The housing authority supported the project we are part of the selection process for those groups. So we have testified that there is the process. We are supporting it. It's all private.
Oh, thank you.
It's a state one. I mean, I have read where, you know, they want so many senior housing available, number of towns, which, you know,
So they don't recognize senior housing. They recognize affordable. So they no longer, if you go onto their website, they might mention certain things, but if you look at their funding programs, it's all affordable housing. There's no like differentiation between family and age restricted, disabled. It's all basically affordable. In their worldview, you have an apartment, anybody can rent that apartment. As long as, you know, the bedrooms suffice or the rent income is there. to support the rent. Anybody can rent these. They might have some supportive housing programs out there that are age restricted. Support required, but for the most part, it's all. And that's. Legislature.
There's not really much inventory out there, number one, and number two, what's going on in the housing market and the rentals.
So the state of Connecticut is great at starting projects, not great at funding. Bristol Heights is a perfect example. We had money until they ran out of money, and then no one had money, but we still got to maintain the current income or the rental structure as if they were getting this money. It's like, it doesn't work. So in their grand scheme of things, they'll give us money to repopulate our savings accounts once we get to the point of bankruptcy. So we don't go bankrupt. But outside of that, it's about repopulation. So they planned this out, but you know, it makes it difficult to properly maintain the units.
We have quite a few that could use a little, like our fans. Yes. Fire department there.
So one of the things we're going to be doing in December, hopefully, is applying for a community development block grant of this building, and hopefully we'll have some other stuff. We have to come up with money to spend. And therein lies the rub. The town has to be involved in that because the council has to approve the application. So it's like a town housing authority joint application. No. That's separate. So basically, the town applies for it. The housing authority does the work. Gives the money that they receive from the state to the housing authority. Once that's done, we give all the records to the town. The state comes in, audits the records. So that's how.
Going on with our new senior center.
That's
That's-
not to him.
Oh, that's not.
That's another
okay.
topic.
Yeah, that's the other
All right,
process.
okay.
Yeah, he's got enough to handle.
You can go
Leave,
now.
leave now, Joe, just leave now,
Yeah.
leave
Yeah.
now.
that's another question.
The
for
only
the
reason I'm
council.
involved in this is because the housing authority owns the buildings.
Right.
We have a 99-year lease.
Yeah, right.
with the town. But other than that,
Yeah.
that's my only involvement.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah. So if anyone in the room has any other questions, thank you so much.
Thank you, Joe, for coming.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Very
Just
informative.
have a great night.
Yes, you too. Happy Thanksgiving. Have a good
And I
holiday.
hope you'll come back again in the spring when the ground is.
Hopefully we'll break ground. I'll invite the commission agent out there. All right. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thank you.
Take care.
Okay, thank you.
If you want, I mean, you don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting. I just came for the housing, but if you like to, you're welcome. If you have questions about the senior center, whatever, stay, or the new senior center, the proposed one. Yeah.
Okay, we've already had our audience of citizens.
That's all right. All right, I feel the same way.
I appreciate you all coming.
Thank you,
There
ladies.
was things I wanted you to know.
Don't worry about it. Leave the door open. We'll close it when Lois in and Lisa go. You're welcome. Okay?
Well, that depends on whether we can find someone else that would like to try it. You know, sometimes new ideas are better ideas, you know.
Okay.
I won't leave it in the lurch.
I'll speak with you.
All right.
Yeah, let's continue on.
Bye,
Yeah,
Debbie.
let's move on with the
Let's move
agenda.
on. We have quite a bit left in our agenda.
Thank you for coming.
Okay. Do you want me to start with my,
Yes, I was just gonna call on you.
Okay. So our transportation service area expansion has been very successful. We now transport to the following towns: Newington, Weathersfield, Rocky Hill, Southington, Cromwell, Meriden, Plainville, and Farmington. We are keeping it within a certain radius from the senior center to within these towns. We are providing currently transportation to 162 individuals to 133 different locations. We have so far, as of today, provided 5,974 rides. Those are duplicate, like to certain locations, but our transportation service is, our ridership is growing, which is good, and we're able to provide. So we have the capability right now, growth is always good. Our congregate meal attendance is continuously growing. We are seeing new participants each month. Doretha Dixon, our prior site manager, is back working with us. Everyone is thrilled to have her back. Cardio drumming classes are continuing to have a great attendance rate. One of our students asked for a more active cardio drumming class, so we now have 2 regular cardio drumming classes and 1 high intensity class. Our first ever open house was a huge success. We had an attendance of 125 people approximately. It brought in many new residents who got to see what the senior center is about, but it also brought in new community partners for the center. This year's flu clinic was a success. The Central Connecticut Health District provided service at the indoor clinic to 75 people and at the drive-through clinic to 184 people. They had 21 volunteers helping them out. And we've had some new and different programming this year, such as Fun with History, Create Your Own Charcuterie, Cupcake Decorating Class, etc. Also, our Tech Hub with Victoria has been successful, and we are always looking for new ideas. As of today, we have 1,042 seniors that have their key tags for My Senior Center, and that is we've had an increase of 181 new members since last year at this time. That is an average of 15 new members per month. And if there's anything else that you would like me to report on, please just let me know. Yeah, so if there's anything else you want me to include in the my report, just let me know and I will include it for next time, or if you have any questions and anything that I had here today, just let me know.
How are we managing all that transportation? That's a lot of.
Well, we usually have 3 drivers on the road. We do limit it, like at the most, maybe at the most, we could go 20 people a day, maybe sometimes 22. It all depends on times, where they're going. Transportation is a hard thing to manage sometimes.
Yes, that's right.
But we have great drivers, Joe, Tommy, Cesare, Tommy Zigma, and we now have Ed Alicia, a new per diem driver.
Oh.
And we are fortunate that through my grant writing, we have a new bus. Hopefully, they offer us the opportunity again to apply for another new bus, because we need to replace bus 2 because it is getting older. If that comes about, then I will apply again. But that also is a process because it goes through the state and also through, like DOT, but also through, the federal transportation. And we're also lucky because I also write another grant, it's a matching grant program, and it provides us funds to pay for the per diem drivers to drive. Because right now, the town, in my town budget, it only funds my full-time driver and 15 hours a week for one of my part-time. Everything else is paid for through my DOT grant. So that's how we're able to expand. If we lose those funds and the town still won't increase my budget, then we're gonna have to decrease our service. But hopefully that won't happen. We'll find another avenue. So, and we have our 3 vehicles, our 2 buses, our van, and we still have our car. But we don't use that as frequently. So all our buses are serviced by our garage. So, but it has, expanding our service has, to a lot of people, it's been a godsend.
Oh, absolutely.
And we try to stay within a certain radius. So like in Weathersfield, we only go a certain distance because, you know, Weathersfield is, you go all the way down into Hartford. So we kind of keep it in the Stylistine area or whatever. Farmington, we go into the, like Yukon Medical area. We don't go as, you know, far as it like on the line of Avon. Because people don't realize, even in town, Berlin land-wise is big. It might be small-wise population, but to go from Meriden end of town to, say, hospital for special care, that takes some good over 20 minutes, if not longer. You know, so, right, so, but yeah, it's working out and people are very happy and, you know, we try not to turn people away, unfortunately, but sometimes we have to. Medicals are a priority. Lunch and grocery shopping are right after that. You know, if it's something like they want to go to the library, you know, we'll say, we're full, maybe we can take you this day. Or, you know, a hair appointment. We know that medicals are the most important, getting prescriptions and getting food. So.
I think it's working out very well.
Yeah, it is.
It's very, very important to have that service.
Right, and we have wonderful drivers. I get wonderful reports back from our riders that our drivers are, you know, of the approach. They're very good. So,
Thank you, Tina.
you're welcome.
Housing report, Ann, Cameron?
There's not much more to give. Joe's report was very interesting. Hoping stuff will come along. They did a few repairs and stuff this summer. I got my ramps, some other people got stuff too. We have still a couple more projects waiting. Shower. That stuff has to be replaced. That's part of it. So, you know, we're waiting for that. We have a system to put our niece down on a piece of paper and they'll come and fix them. I had my light fall off. Which was very interesting.
And that's using the work orders, right?
Well, I didn't even do that. I just called and told her, and then I was getting ready to go get a slip to fill out and show up to fix it. So. And he said they're going to be changing a lot of the lights in the ceiling because a lot of those pictures are the ones they put in were not a very good value. Expensive, and what happened is they don't stay. All the tabs broke off outside of the land.
She lives at Personal Heights.
Oh, okay.
So she's talking about the improvements and stuff that they make through the housing authority.
So they're doing pretty good. It seems to be settling down.
I just wanted to know if you wanted to talk about that idea you brought to me. Yeah. So Lisa brought this idea to me after we discovered one of the residents there deceased. So we're looking to work together.
It bothers me because I live alone and I have family, but they're busy with their lives. I don't talk to my kids all the time. just the way it is. And so I thought that could be me. I could lay for 2 days, a week, whatever, and no one would find me. And so I started investigating about it. And I know people said, well, what about a phone tree and that? I thought, I didn't want to do that. Someone said, well, you put a flip a sign on your door and
Right.
people would flip it when they get up. And I came across an app on the phone that is a check-in system, just for you. You set it up to check in whatever time you want for the day. Say it's 4 o'clock and the check's gonna come on your phone and say, hey, are you okay? You hit the check, boom, it's done. If you don't get that check, it's going to send a message to whoever you have designated as people that care about you. That is a free one. There is no charge for it. They do have, that particular one is called, anyhow, you can pay, $10 a month or $100 a year, and it's more involved with a call or talk to you or do things. There is also another app that, it's not an app, but a program, I guess, that works if you have a landline, because I know not everybody has. The one I'm talking about is strictly an app. For an app. But there is one you can get. That one is not free. That has a fee of $10 a month. For $15, it's $120 a year. Which maybe one of your kids might say, hey, it's worth it to me to pay this. So there are options, and I'm talking to the police department to see if they, how they felt about it. And my one contact there thought it was a good idea. So he's doing some research, he's gonna talk to the police chief. And hopefully it works out. We would like to do it just as an informational
Progress.
tool in your bag that maybe you want to do it, maybe you don't, but it's another tool that people have. It's, to me, it's between, a life alert thing and having just feeling a little bit,
Right.
secure. It's also, you could use it for not just old people, it's the type of thing you have for your kids if they live off, stay in college and they never remember the time you came down, got me out of bed.
Yep.
Not having emergency surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just, another tool that we're exploring.
I knocked on your door once, Lois.
Lisa, I just want to ask you, when you're looking into this, the Frontiers trying to do away with landlines. I had a whole afternoon on the phone with them. They're doing this new fiber optic system. So when you're looking into this, I just want you to be aware about the landlines. I think the landlines are important. I like my landline.
Yeah, and I don't know the difference between the two, how they're set up, if it's just, you dial a number, you push a button. So whatever phone system you're gonna have, fiber optics, that would be the same type of thing when you have your cordless phone in your house. I don't know about that.
Yeah,
We
well,
just
when
want,
you
we
look-
want
I
to
keep my
present,
center up or something.
we really want to
Right.
get out to our membership the different ways that you can set up a system
I think that's an excellent
with
idea.
family or friends.
Yeah.
Right, that there are options out there because, one of the residents there came to us and said, we haven't seen her. We knocked on her door, she's not answering. So then we did a wellness, we called the police, they did a wellness check and they found her deceased. We don't know how long she was laying there. Could have been a day, it could have been a while. So, and we, just so you know, when somebody rides our bus and they make a bus reservation, if we go out to their house and they don't answer, they don't come out, we call them, and they don't answer, they tell me or Victoria, we call their emergency contact and say, listen, they made a bus reservation, we went out to the house, no one came out, no one answered the door, no one answered the phone. I think somebody needs to check them. And we have, in the past, found other folks deceased. I found a gentleman, I had gone out to his house, and it was just by the luck of God that his door was open, I was able to go in, he had fallen down the stairs. So we do with our bus riders, or if somebody comes up to us and says, hey, I haven't seen so-and-so. We do follow up. We do follow up.
It's just another tool.
Right.
It's not any guarantee. I mean, you could die within
Right,
10 hours or whatever.
right,
But it's just another way to help you feel
yeah.
a little bit better, or maybe it's helpful.
So we're gonna work together on that,
Yep, that's a good thing.
especially with the housing.
And like, police department, told me, they said there's a lot of senior housing in this town. I forget,
Right.
You said there's 6,000 seniors
Right.
in this town.
Right.
How many people live alone? And you
Right.
just want to feel a little bit more, yes, like somebody to check, without having to be
Right.
calling every day, or doing, or, you know, it's not anybody else's responsibility, is my thought.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa.
We'll keep you posted.
My report for the community center, senior center, the status is still in question. It's still in the hands of the council. So we have to just wait and see what they decide. I haven't heard anything new, so I'll just wait next month. I'll follow up again and see if they have decided it. That's what I said. That's the government. We're here to help. Right away.
Is that the one across from His Wish?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
We had meetings after meetings after meetings, and now it's in the hands of the council, so we just have to wait. Okay, is there any old business to come before the meeting? Any new business?
Like I said, I got my letter. And if you have anyone that's expressed interest, it's not that I really want to leave, just quit, leave you stranded, so.
Oh,
I
that your
kinda like
time
if
is
I-
up?
yeah,
Is
my
that
time
it?
is up.
Oh.
So, if you know
Don't tell
anyone
us
who'd be
that.
interested, and I'm gonna spread it over there, because like I said, sometimes new ideas are the best, it's not, doesn't hurt to bring it in person. But I would stay if I can't find anyone.
Well, I think that I'm happy to hear you say that. Do you know how many letters I've gotten over the years?
They have a hard,
Guess what? I don't want.
They have a hard time
unfortunately,
filling,
they have a hard time filling commissions.
Yes.
our park and rec commission is 4 years and we don't even have a full board. For 4 years, we haven't had one.
It's very hard because it's very hard to get people to volunteer
Volunteer.
and
And
to,
people in the audience, there's always jobs for people to volunteer for.
yeah.
Commissions.
Lisa's-
boards and-
There's a lot of openings. There's a lot of openings on the boards and commissions in town. A lot.
You know what I think?
They're
They're-
listed on the town.
They're
website.
posted on every
Yeah.
town council agenda,
Yeah.
It's
every
really
single one.
interesting. It's not going down.
Yeah.
No, and I think it's interesting too, that you've stayed, you've grown with the position now, you know a little bit about it. And like all the years I've been on, I think the problem is when you're on for a long time and you're working at this and you don't see a lot of progress. That's the discouraging part. Like I said with Joe, he's a volunteer. He's been
Yeah.
on a long time. And finally you see a little light at the end of the tunnel. We're just hoping it's not trains, but that's just a long time.
Right,
for
but
him.
Barbara, we might not have had progress on the proposed new center, senior center.
But there's
But
been
we've
a,
had progress here.
been a lot of
at our
growth at the
center.
senior center, absolutely.
And a lot of it has to do with you and advocating and telling people.
You've done a lot of things. like
Yes,
the
Barbara.
Elevator.
You've had a lot of,
And you have to be outspoken.
right.
And
you've
that's
done a
why I
good job.
say to people, please come to our meeting, tell us, that's why I wanted all of you here tonight, because I wanted you to hear what he's going through to try to get new housing. And we had meeting after meeting to try to do the community center, senior center. And that's why elections have consequences, because you need to put in place the people that are gonna support you, And I just feel like for the senior center, it's so important. When you see the people that meet here and the wonderful things that they do and the community and the connection, I think it's a wonderful thing. And some people, they wouldn't get out at all if it wasn't for coming to the senior center. So, I think that it's a very worthwhile center. That's why.
Well, the other thing is people don't realize this center does not belong to the town. It belongs to the housing authority.
That's right.
And Joe had said one time, they could come in and say, we want the rest of our building back,
That's right.
and we're out of luck. I don't know who's the,
Sal, I think,
Sal
Sal
Bordenero.
Bordenero, I think.
who's head of the finance board. Yeah, but then they had gotten rid of the finance board and then they just brought it back. But there's there's a finance board and then there's a finance department, which are town employees, the finance director, finance board of volunteers.
Board of Finance is once or twice a week. I mean, once or twice a month.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, wow.
They usually meet the off Tuesdays, like council will meet 2 Tuesdays, and I think Board of Finance will meet the other 2 Tuesdays, but there's some months where they don't need 2 meetings.
Yeah, it's in document.
All right, should we vote on,
How would you feel about, how would you feel about in the spring, having someone from the Board of Finance come to speak? That would be great.
that might even be good, Barbara, to have as a senior center event where you're gonna hit more people, like a 1 o'clock event at the
Right.
senior center.
Well, that's what I was thinking about tonight, and I was thinking about, a lot of people don't understand how government runs and sometimes what's part of it. Like, that would be a good thing where we bring in the different parts of the town government
I think that would be a good.
to talk.
Bring that would be a good
Right.
thing. The only thing is you
Right.
could have it done in small sections. because
Right.
You don't want.
No,
Right.
No,
Right.
no.
But I think if you do it as a senior center program or
Like an
event,
event.
you're gonna get a lot more people.
You know, I done it, I did it before where it was like breakfast with Berlin, and I had the town manager. Then it was breakfast with Berlin. I had, like the library. Breakfast with, like, just to explain about the services.
Let's think about that
Yeah.
in the spring.
Okay,
Okay,
Yeah.
now we're into the holidays.
Yeah. but I think that more the people understanding the government and how it works. Local government.
It's important because
Yeah.
local government is very different from anything. that's
Right.
state.
Absolutely.
You have social services.
Right,
come, you
yeah.
have The town planner.
Right.
come.
We did that, we did an outreach at the different housing complexes, and we did have it here, where we did fire, we did police, social services, park and rec, library, senior services. Just to explain, okay, this is the services we provide. Here's our info. Because we have a lot of new residents in town
Yeah.
because of all the housing.
I
So,
think that would be a good idea.
yeah, we'll do
Tina.
it.
We'll
Yeah.
We'll do,
We'll
you
do
know,
a
a little at
government
a
one
time in the spring.
Yeah,
Because people need to know
right,
where you get progress and where you don't,
Right.
you know? And
That's why I brought it up. I thought it was-
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's important.
yeah, your local government is probably the most
Yeah.
important because it affects you the closest.
But even like tonight, I mean, you might hear somebody say, oh, when are they gonna do the senior housing? But you don't realize, now that I'm here, I see what
Right,
the obstacles and all of
Right.
that, which I didn't know
Right.
about, so it's
Right.
good to know these things.
right.
And how frustrating it is for him
Yeah,
and for me, because we've been at this a long time, Joe and I, but I give him a lot of credit.
But that was
because-
good that you got him to meeting here and he was
Yes,
able to explain.
And he
Because
was.
people will now then
All right,
take
let's
that info and spread.
Okay.
vote on the
All right, we gotta
calendar.
vote.
Is there any other new business? Oh, we have to do the
You have to
calendar.
vote on the calendar.
Yes.
Got the calendar? I do.
Oh, okay.
They
Do
should
we
all
have
have
to-
it. It got sent to
Do we
everybody.
have to, do
You
it?
just have to,
You
you
need
have to
someone,
review and
someone needs to
approve.
make a motion to approve
Oh,
it.
this is the calendar for next year. Could I have a motion to approve the calendar?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the calendar.
A second.
Frank
Okay.
motions and seconds.
Okay. Thank you for
No,
having this all
no,
done.
all in approval?
all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Opposed?
thank
All
you.
in favor. Any opposed?
They forget that a lot, Lisa.
Yeah.
They make the motions, but then they never vote on stuff.
We know we're all approved.
So now we can adjourn.
Okay, could I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Your
Okay,
boyfriend.
I second it.
Lois seconds.
All in favor?
all in favor?
6:24 PM.
Okay,
Thank you. You can keep that.